YouTube! Today on Drawing with Jerin, we're going to be revisiting some old artwork from 2009 to see what a decade of experience looks like.
So I guess we can talk about progress.
Progress.
And what it feels like to see how much you've improved over time.
Or not improved in my case.
What's that supposed to mean?
What's that look supposed to mean?
You don't think you've improved?
A little.
Aaron, give yourself more credit. Come on, man.
Do I have to?
You do. You need to be good to yourself.
Do I, though?
You do.
Do I really?
Yes.
Must I?
Yes.
I must.
You must.
I gotta.
One of the things I think that surprised me the most when we started working on redoing some of these old pictures was then, as proud as I was when I did it the first time, going back and then seeing it again as something to work on and realizing how not actually good it was.
Yeah, I've had that feeling, like, I thought it was good when I made it, but then I went back to it and was like, oh god, that face is so jacked. But there were other times when I actually felt, well, this kind of just feels like a rough sketch of what I want it to look like. I don't really have the skill to do what I actually want yet. That happened a lot when I started doing digital art, which was about like 12 years ago that I got my first tablet. I was pretty much used to doing things in traditional media, which I wasn't super good at that, but I was more used to it. You know, I had to learn how to control the everything and figure out how I was going to color things, and a lot of times I just used flat vectors, and I wasn't really good at that in the beginning, so everything kind of just looked like a cut paper collage that was a stand-in for what I wanted to make, which was something much more detailed. I would think of things like, you know, if I had more time and patience to do this background, or if I could shade things well enough. Once I had that experience, and I went back and I did the background and the shading and all that, but the first time it was just like, ugh, this is so hard. I'm just gonna make this really basic. Hence all the vectors.
Or just like a gradient.
A gradient, yeah. Oh, gradients. Gradients. Where would we be without them?
I did gradients all the time.
I still like gradients, but in moderation.
This is why I really like doing these kinds of projects where you go back and try to redo something that you've done before, because that's where you really see the big difference. The bigger the time gap between the last piece you did and the one you're doing now, the more impressive the differences are and the more you can see that progress.
And you know, sometimes it doesn't even take that long. When I was redoing a lot of my old fan art at the beginning of the year, I felt like I had improved a lot while I was working on it. And then I did that big piece that you were editing, that other one. I finished that. And I was like, well, this didn't come out as good as I wanted. It's not as good as some of the other art that I redid recently. And then I looked at the stuff that I redid, and the stuff that I redid was crappier than the thing that I had just done. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess I just suck. But it was actually because my standards had gotten higher, and my skills were not quite there yet. But every time you do something, you get higher standards for how it should be.
Now, the one thing that anybody who's ever drawn anything before will know is that when you draw something and you know it's not right, there's something wrong with it, but you can't quite put your finger on what it is or what you need to fix to make it better. Doing this particular exercise, especially with these older character drawings, I immediately saw this is really, really wrong. But unlike last time, now a lot of the things that I needed to change to make it look right were obvious. And I'm not going to say it's perfect yet, because I'm sure I'm going to come back to these drawings in another 10 years and be like, oh God, what was I thinking? There were things that I saw in these pieces that were just instant, like, I know exactly what to do to fix this. Everything that I had in mind when I first came up with that drawing, I had all these ideas for stuff I wanted to do, and what I ended up with was a result of my limitations. But this time, looking at it and seeing everything that needed to be fixed and knowing exactly what to do, it was almost kind of fun.
A lot of artists, a lot of creative people, myself included, are always comparing ourselves to someone else who is better, and there's always going to be someone who's ridiculously good, and you're like, well, this person is good, so why should I even try? But you don't want to compare yourself to those people, because you're comparing two completely different people who have completely different life experiences and all that other fun stuff. Compare yourself to your past self and how much you've improved.
My perspective, these characters that I drew, as bad as that looked, I was
not
really...
bad.
No, I'm talking about the originals.
Yeah, no, it wasn't bad.
No, they were
You
bad.
were learning. They were good. You were learning.
As bad as those looked, I was super, super proud of what I had accomplished back then. But I think this should be a clear indication that no matter how good you think you are, there is always room to get better. my main piece of advice is just be patient.
Yeah, you got to have patience with yourself, man. That's the most important thing.
It takes the time it takes. And sometimes it's a really long time. Sometimes it's a lifetime. You're never done. You can always be better. It's absolutely true that the more you learn about a thing, the more you realize there is to learn about a thing. The greatest experts in the world have the most questions probably out of any of us.
Yeah, the more you know you don't know.
The more you want to know.